Is from a school in Tepisong on the West Rand, where 6 others have been admitted to hospital. This as 22 others were rushed to a local clinic in Soshanguve earlier today after falling ill from consuming snacks bought from an informal trader. Gloria Motswere reports.
There has been a significant rise in these cases in Gauteng, affecting large numbers of learners in schools. Just this week, the Gauteng Education Department recorded 3 incidents where learners had to receive medical attention after eating snacks bought from traders operating within the schools. In the city of Tshwane, a total of 62 learners had to be sent to local clinics in 2 separate incidents after they fell ill at school from allegedly eating snacks. The department's Steve Mabona.
Quite concerning that we are now seeing so many of cases where learners are consuming food that is probably poisonous.
Gloria Motswere, Eyewitness News.
A former police detective turned private investigator says detectives are encouraged to close dockets prematurely due to minimize mounting caseloads. Mtu Mbele spoke to EWN in the wake of a crisis within police as they have lost almost 10,000 detectives in 6 years. SAPS currently have 17,600 detectives countrywide, down from 26,000 detectives 6 years ago. Mbele says the detective unit within SAPS is crucial in ensuring detectives can properly manage their caseload.
Some will go to a matter when he's got about hundreds of other cases he has to attend to. So, the easiest way I've seen them doing it is that where you don't really have a good lead, you might as well have to file, and then they are encouraged to file dockets.
And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says 8 trucks waiting to cross from Egypt into Gaza are a lifeline, which need to move into the war-torn strip as soon as possible. Guterres visited the Egyptian side of the Rafah crossing with Gaza today to oversee preparations for the delivery of aid. Cargo planes and trucks have been bringing humanitarian aid to Rafah for days, but so far nothing has made it to...
Just trucks. They are a lifeline. They are the difference between life and death for so many people in Gaza. And to see them stuck here makes me be very clear. What we need is to make them move.
A partly cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng, temperatures peaking at highs of between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story this hour, the Education Department has confirmed that another learner has died after allegedly consuming food bought from a street vendor.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Even Praveen, because Praveen didn't feel good, when I said move or be moved. So I didn't say move from cabinet. I was saying move faster or you will be moved, like we'll push you. You see? Yeah. No, let me explain to you.
Zungu is the latest man. Oh, straight red card! Over the top of the ball, challenge from Bongani Zungu.
But a lot of people have been saying that post-match there was no mention of Bernard Parker by coach Rulani Mkwena. Is that true?
No, I can only wish Bernard Parker speedy recovery. I hope it's not as serious as it looks. And I knowing Bongani Zungu, I know it was not malicious and there was no malicious intent behind it. And the only thing that I can say on it is that I wish Bernard Parker a speedy recovery.
Right, so Coach Rulani Mkwena wishing him a speedy recovery, saying that it was not intentional. And then, of course, the winning coach, Said Ramovich, steps forward for the post-match interview, and this was the post-match interview.
I don't actually want to talk about the game.
I really feel very awful with the injury of Bernard Parker and, the reaction of Bongani Zungu. With all due respect, that is just unprofessional, that is unsportsmanship, and that is just a disgusting reaction.
We don't expect to see that as soccer-loving people, such injuries. To Zungu, he needs to call Parker and apologize.
Coach Siad Ramovich, my guest today.
Coach, maintain your temper.
What is your state of mind right now? Somebody mentioned short temper and stuff, but
my father teach me, and I saw it from him. The most important thing in your life is humanity, honestly, peace, love to any anyone.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Yeah, we've got a rugby legend in studio, but he tells me that he's used to playing only 40 minutes and he's got a dash. And I said, you know what? Because you are a legend, I'll allow you to be on the show for 40 minutes.
It's kickoff time. The mighty Boks take on the world.
He's got one already and he's going to get another.
The Rugby World Cup, all the news, all the views.
Springboks with a penalty advantage.
All the action, right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
They have to scramble.
#MSW with Marawa on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Yeah, and with that, though, I mean, the excitement of the Rugby World Cup, the semi-finals. I'll tell you who's in studio right now. But Facundo Issa is going to be winning his 50th cap for Argentina in tonight's Rugby World Cup semi-final with three-time champions New Zealand. So the 30-year-old number 8 is one of 7 players in the matchday 23 to have played in the Pumas 2015 World Cup semi-final defeat, if you remember that, against the Australians. Head coach Michael Chaker, who was in charge of Australia when they beat the Pumas in 2015, has made just one change to the starting 15 from one that surprises Wales in the quarterfinals. So Argentina and New Zealand weren't supposed to get this far after losing their opening games at the Rugby World Cup. Now the Pumas were seen as the no-hopers of the tournament, the All Blacks perceived as a faded force. Their assistant coach, though, Felipe Contamponi, was very proud of what they've achieved, though, so far.
Well, obviously the competition makes it special. You know, it's a World Cup. I think Argentina. It's not that we are lucky. I think we earn it to play them twice a year, every year, by entering the Rugby Championship. And for me, definitely, it's very important that because it gave us the opportunity to compete every year against the best, like South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. And that helped us a lot to develop for when we arrive into games like hopefully tomorrow. We are better prepared, or we know what's coming, you know. But it's a very special occasion. It's not just because it's the All Blacks. It's because it's a semi-final of the World Cup. If it was Ireland, it would be the same great occasion for us. You know, we'll embrace the occasion. We want to come and give our best, and that's what we are looking for.
So the New Zealand head coach Ian Foster says that his side are massively respectful of Argentina. 3-time winners New Zealand are strong favourites, though, to make it through to their 5th final, something that Argentina have never managed to do, having lost twice at the semi-final stage back in 2007 and also in 2015. So in 36 matches, Argentina have won just twice against the All Blacks, and most recently in August 2022.
Look, we're massively respectful of Argentina. We know that they've had a great tournament. We don't sort of live in the past too much in terms of past results, because World Cup tournaments are about the present, and I really believe that. You know, it's about the best team on the night, and if you go into a World Cup semi-final with any expectation that the past is going to just happen again, then it's you're going to be in problems.
I guess from that experience, you learn a lot, and it's clear that we've got some outstanding leaders in the team, and pretty much all of them were there. And I know that sort of loss is driving some of them. So yeah, I guess at the World Cup experience is key. And I know it's 4 years on, but you can still look back to that week and think about what you learnt from it, and I guess make sure that it doesn't happen again, and you get this week right.
You know, I think the good thing about this game is that, you know, we both know how tough each other is, and they're a very physical, combative team, particularly at the breakdown, and particularly the way that they tackle. And so, you know, you look at the likes of Kremer, and he's had a great tournament, and so it's a little bit of the same from what we had in the quarterfinal. And so, you know, we're not going in with any different mindset in that space. And so the moral of the story is that it's a semi-final. We're playing a team that we know will scrap and fight for every little bit of possession, and we're going to have to be at our best.
Back on your radio by popular demand. It's the infamous Room Dividers with Robert Marawa, Dando Manana, and Ashwin Willemse. Tuesdays on #MSW947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
All right, the Boks out in town, and I think a lot of people have actually left the country. They all kind of moved, they migrated. South Africa having another province there in France. But the quest is, ladies and gentlemen, to simply try and win the Rugby World Cup for a fourth time. My legend, who's here in studio, knows very well what playing professional rugby in France is like. He was capped 64 times, though, for the Boks. Played for a French top 14 side, Le Mans, between the year 2005 and 2006. So he was just boasting to me off air about how fluent he is in French and how much I know or don't know about French. But I don't want to get into that conversation because I was going to lose hands down. I mean, the flick flack was not the only thing that he was famous for. I mean, this man is a living Springbok legend, thrilling us all and garnering attention almost from the start of his top-flight rugby career with a hat-trick of tries in his first Currie Cup match back in 1996 and eventually making his first Springbok appearance in 1999. Now, in his first appearance for the Springboks against Italy, yeah, he did that. He scored a hat-trick. So you know that when you start your international career in that way, you are destined for greatness. In 2005, amassed 54 appearances for the Springboks, placing him in the top 7 all-time Springbok caps and also scoring 22 tries. Now let that sink in. Perhaps his most notable Springbok game was the 2-try performance against Australia in the 2002 Tri-Nations, but also in the Currie Cup, playing mainly for Western Province, averaging nearly a try a match. Yeah, that was quite easy for him. I mean, what an honor to have the one and only Breyton Paulse right here in studio tonight. Let's give him his flowers, ladies and gentlemen, because he deserves each and every one. Breyty, good to see you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Wow, Rob, good evening, man. What an introduction. You gave me goosebumps.
And I'm all talking about you, man. Can you imagine if it was somebody else? Does that still sink in? Does your greatness worry you at times?
It does, Rob. I think, as professional sportsmen, you don't realize what you do when you're busy with it. Yes. And I think, once you're done, only a couple of years later, you actually realize what you've done. And with the current crop of players, it's a special breed of players currently in the Springbok side. And I tell you what, a whole lot of them, I don't think they understand the impact they have on so many South Africans.
I mean, did you realize, you start off, boom, hat-trick. You're not going to be normal, Breyton, because we're always looking for heroes. We're always looking for that one guy who's going to turn on the magic. You scored the hat-trick. How does Breyton's life change?
Yeah, it really changed instantly, Rob. As a farm boy, coming from a peaceful background, all of a sudden, the Kowa Bokkerveld, Robbie, come on. You're going to get it right one day. Kowa Bokkerveld.
It's a Kowa Bokkerveld.
And I tell you what, it's very cold. We get snow there in the winter, right?
No, I know.
I don't think, yeah, you've been there. You've been there, Robbie. Yeah, man, I almost forgot. And I don't think many people even know where it is. It's close to, the closest town is Ceres. But Robbie, growing up as a young boy, working on the farm, playing on the farm, had dreams, but never knew at the time that at some point that will materialize. That I think is my story to the little kids out there who didn't have dreams, who grew up in broken homes, who never had, family love, for instance, and who didn't have the support like many South Africans do have. I'm talking about good homes, good private schools. I mean, I've never had that, and I was given an opportunity by the farm owner who saw some talent in me, and that sort of changed my life in terms of when he said to me, Breyty, I'm sending you to university. Here's the money. I was like, wow.
Because that was basically the trade-off.
Yes.
So the farm owner was like, I see talent in you.
Yeah.
So you're going to go to Stellenbosch. I'll take care of the tuition.
Yeah.
You deliver on the rugby side as well.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it, Rob. That day changed my life. I was like, no, this guy's not serious. And he said to me, well, Brace, here's the deal. If you don't, get through your first year, you're coming to work on the farm. And you won't drive a tractor. You will, pick the apples in the
manual labor.
You will do the hard labor, Robin. And I don't know whether that scared me, but man, that was an opportunity in life that I get. Obviously the rest is history, but then my battle in life sort of started. I call it a wonderful journey of battles who made me a better person and made me want it more in life.
Your biggest battle would have been what?
Yeah, my biggest battle would have been the new surroundings, the new environment. Like I said, come from the farm.
Yeah.
People are loving. They got no worries. All of a sudden, the worry started. I mean, now I started playing rugby with my boys at Stellenbosch. There were expectations. They were waiting for me to go out and score twice every week. And suddenly, this small guy coming into a big Afrikaans environment and people started saying, no, man, what is this guy doing here? He's wasting his time.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be in the team. And then obviously with that, my good late mate, and may his soul rest in peace, Chester Williams, I want to tell you a story.
Yeah.
I really got fed up in my second year of playing for the Boks. I was enjoying every moment. It was a hell of a privilege, Rob, and it was, unfortunately, I had to score 10 tries when, let's say, my white mate had score only 1 try, to be picked. So I had to perform at the highest level all the time because this man was too small and the color of his skin wasn't right.
Yeah.
So, you had to work harder to be able to do that and get into the team. In the second year, we went to Wales, and Chester Williams was my roommate. And that one night, we had a very controversial week again. We got to Wales, the media asked us, political questions. And I tell you, Robbie, man, I wasn't there to answer political questions. I wanted to play for that badge on my heart. And that's only one thing I want to do. I didn't care about politics. I didn't care about what people want to talk about. I just want to play rugby. And I asked Chester, we went to bed that night, and it was a very controversial week. There were controversial things happening the whole week. And I asked Chester, I said to him, Jesse, I'm fed up now. I love playing for the Boks, but, this attention when we get to the overseas places is getting to me. And he said to me, Breyty, you know what? I fought the same battles.
Yeah.
He said to me, don't give up now. Because in 25 years from now, other boys will have it so much easier. I tell you what, Robbie, I tell you what, if he didn't tell me that, I was prepared to say goodbye to the Springboks at 22 years old. Because
just as your career starting.
My career was starting. I was loving it. We were traveling the world. We were meeting, Royal Highness. We met the Queen. We met people, that normal people get excited about. I just wanted to play for the Boks. But I tell you, Robbie, every time I had to go sit in a press conference, Breyty, what is what is going in South Africa? Is apartheid still alive? Is the black players getting opportunities? And I promise you, it got to me. I wasn't prepared, and they weren't training from the Springbok side to PR side to say, Breyty, this is how you must handle this.
So they left it to you to handle it. And this is even way before Kamstal.
Absolutely, way before Kamstal.
I mean, but that's crazy though, because you then get the insight of the fact that, especially in those days when you were playing, is that you were literally wearing a political jersey. The animal itself was a divisive thing that had to call upon the president, Nelson Mandela, to decide what to do. Does this animal get completely scraped off?
Yep.
Because of utterances that had been mentioned by the then late Danny Craven about who can and cannot wear the Springbok jersey. So you are literally wearing a jersey of an animal that was under dispute.
Absolutely. And obviously at the time, I didn't understand because where I grew up, I was never exposed to apartheid, for instance, or racism, And thank goodness, I thank the Lord that I was never exposed to it, even when I went to Stellenbosch University.
Yeah.
Because once I started playing for my university, the boys around me were so lovable and so, I felt I belong. There was not about color. It wasn't about my size and all that kind of stuff. So at Marty's, I felt like, this is like, it felt like a family, that feeling I had when I was at the farm. But obviously the higher I went for Western Province and for Stormers and for the Boks, I had to fight those battles, which I wasn't prepared for. And today, when I look at today, when I went to the 2019 World Cup final, and I went the day that the Boks, beat Argentina in the semi-final, and I went that Monday. I flew to Japan. I wasn't even knowing I was going to go. It was like an instant decision because I'm like, wow, this team is so representative. And guys like Justin Colby remind me of myself, for instance.
Wow.
The little guys who had such impact in a game of rugby, which I thought, with that night when Chelsea told me, Breyty, 20, 25 years from now, it could be a different story. And I'm so happy that these little guys, or even the guys like Siya Kolisi, don't have to fight these battles because...
We'll absorb as much as we can from the legend. We'll talk about, obviously, the game that's coming up, the big, the massive one against England. Also a semi happening tonight.
3, 2, 1. It's here. The Rugby World Cup.
Springboks with a penalty advantage.
Tracked by Marawa every day. #MSW on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Sports Nation is a leading sports travel partner that specializes in international sporting travel packages, which include event tickets, transfers, flights, and accommodation. Visit sportsnation-travel.co.za to see the variety of sporting packages for Rugby World Cup 2023, football, rugby sevens, Formula One, and many more. Let them take you there.
In a world where sameness runs loose, one brand dares to rise above the noise to bring you something big. Introducing the premium 3-row XL6 from Suzuki, an SUV that's big on space, with 6 spacious seats, big on tech, with climate control and reverse camera, and big on safety, with ABS, EBD, and ESP.
Think big. Think XL6. Book your test drive today at suzukiauto.co.za.
Lotto Star brings you lotteries from the European continent, where a single bet could win you instant payouts of up to 125 million rand. Bet now on the UK Lottery Plus, Spanish Bonanza, the Greek Joker, Rapid Super Enna, Euro Millions Deluxe, and Tour de Millions. Lotto Star, your world of live games.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
It's time to find the perfect home internet for you, with space for the whole family. Get amazing views of the latest stream shows, tons of uncapped data for the kids to play and study in. And the area? It's located on SA's best network, MTN. Skip to the good stuff with MTN and your perfect home internet from just $249 per month. Pay monthly, cancel anytime. Visit your nearest MTN store or mtn.co.za or call 083-123-3667. Doing starts at home. MTN.
On a serious note, Chomi, I'm so glad I filed my personal income tax return.
When? How? I never know when to submit.
On e-filing, Chomi. Plus, the deadline is coming up soon.
Oh my word. Then I need to file mine ASAP.
Make your tax matters a priority. File your personal income tax returns before 23 October 2023 to avoid penalties. To file, visit sars.gov.za for e-filing. Your tax matters. SARS at your service.
Don't you wish you can swap your old phone for a brand new foldable one? Get the Galaxy Z Flip 5 today. Trade in your old phone and get a guaranteed 15,000 Rand cash back into your pocket. Samsung Trade-in really is the easiest and most affordable way to get the phone you want. Visit Samsung.com for more information and quick steps to follow. The new Galaxy Z Flip 5. Join the flip side. T's and C's apply.
This is...
Here we go! 947.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Umodieki Komane is my guest, and we'll chat all things netballer, appointment and vision. Madam CEO, what is the key thing? And I know it's about the commercialization. It's about trying to get netball to be there.
Professional,
on that television screen, so that you can do what recently was done with the cricket for the women.
And remember, even now, people are doing so much noise about what we're hosting. But with netball, it's not even a year, but it's quiet. We are still suffering patriarchy. I'll still say it, even on top of my roof. It is a challenge. It's a challenge 30 years later.
But then when you got two powerful individuals, Cecilia Molokwane and yourself, what do we need? I mean, if you had to put it practically.
You cannot professionalize when you don't commercialize.
#MSW. #MSW.
Good evening, Rob. I'm looking forward to Springboks, England, and I know the boys are going to emerge victorious. But with football back after the FIFA break, there are exciting matches in the EPL. I'm looking forward to Arsenal versus Chelsea, and also there's an exciting encounter between Brighton and and Man City, but also locally, I'm looking forward to my Kaizer Chiefs game against Amazulu, and I know the boys are going to make us proud and progress into the next phase of the tournament. But lastly, Rob, I'm just following Girona quite closely because they are a very surprise package in the Spanish La Liga, considering they are sitting just behind Real Madrid in the second position and above Barcelona. It says a lot about them, considering that they lost a whole lot of players in the past transfer window. So for me, with them going into match day 10, sitting up there, I'm just going to monitor how they perform tonight. But lastly, also going to looking forward to these AFL matches, because if Sundowns can win this tournament, they're going to be unstoppable, considering that they already have a huge financial muscle. Thank you so much.
Debocha, thank you so much indeed. Yeah, AFL having just kick-started in Tanzania a short while ago. 1-1 is the score between Simba as well as Al Ali. Guys, 76 million rand is what the prize money is. $4 million is what's on the table, and Sundowns are part of it. So you can well imagine how people are hoping, crossing their fingers that they win.
Hi, Robert. It's Ebi Moloi from Naturena. All eyes tomorrow will be to our national teams, the Springboks and the Proteas, when they take on England respectively. We wish them well, we wish them luck. We hope that they will bring joy and happiness and smiles to the faces of 60 million South Africans. We wish you all well, South African Springbok team and South African Protea team. Thank you very much.
Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
A bit of a disturbing story, though. I don't think a lot of South Africans caught on to it, but let's quickly share that with you. South Africa have condemned the death threat that was received by the scrum half, Kobus Reinach, ahead of Saturday's Rugby World Cup semi-final against England. So the Montpellier player, Kobus, was targeted on social media in the wake of a country's 29-28 quarterfinal victory over the host France. The Boks director of rugby, Rassie Rasmus, highlighted the abuse directed at the 33-year-old by posting a screen grab on his X account. Now, South Africa's assistant coach, Mzwandi Listik, who said that Reinach is in a good space, praised the security levels at the tournament and also believes the matter is being handled by the French authorities.
Personally, I haven't received anything on my phone, so I'm not too stressed about it. But once again, we are well aware of the situation with Kobus and his family, and an honest truth from me. And personally, I can tell you now, we don't have a place for hooligans in our game, The players, they do their job to make sure that they represent their country. And all the players that were on the field, and we are here to represent South Africa. So if someone has got a problem with that, I think the French authorities will have to deal with that, But once again, from our side, we will make sure that we protect each other as a team, our players, management, everyone involved. And once again, we don't have a place for that in our game, You win some, you lose some as part of the game. The question is it the same team compared to 2019? They're totally a different team. And us as a coaching staff and players, I don't think we will never underestimate them, because we know on a good day, when they switch that right button, they can be a dangerous team. So, I think they're a better team now where they are at the moment. I think we'll stand a chance to win the semi-finals. But once again, England are in a good space. They're a good side. And they've got massive X-factor players in that team. So we can't afford not to pitch up tomorrow. So I think the boys are well prepared. We're well prepared as a team. And hopefully everything will go well for us tomorrow.
All right, Stick there, the assistant coach for the Springboks, just addressing that. Breyton Paulse is my guest. If you're just joining us, he's going to be with us for the next 10 minutes before he shoots off. He's a very busy man at this. So we are very privileged and honored that he has popped into the studio. That a disturbing story, though.
Yeah.
I mean, death threats in a foreign country. How do you read that?
Yeah, Robert, you can't take that lightly. You need to take it in the most serious light. And, like Coach Stick said, obviously the French authorities are dealing with that, and they need to deal with it harshly. I actually knew about it on Monday when me and Frans Steyn were doing Super Rugby, one of the shows. And Frans told me, because him and Kobus are very good mates. And I also, when Frans told me, I could see the sort of shock on his face. And never ever in the game of rugby have we even, had such a story. And it is a bit disturbing, you as rugby players and rugby people, I know that sometimes for some people winning is about life and death. But listen, man, at the end of the day, we're all people. And you need to take the losses as humans. You get over it. You cry. You do whatever. But to take it to that level, it's unacceptable, unfortunately, in my view.
Yeah, and just when you go back in time, this time last week, one was within the Bok camp. One was being able to see what was happening there. It's their day off. They take time out. Others choose to go to the Eiffel Tower. Others choose to go to Disney World, and so on and so on. And like normal people, they can catch whatever mode of transport.
Absolutely.
So
Rob.
now things change all of a sudden, and you got to tighten up the screws security-wise.
Absolutely, and that almost like put a dent into your week's preparation. As a professional sportsman, the last thing you want is to have worries in your head going into a game. If you're the best player in the world, even you don't want the best player in the world to go onto a game, wondering if he's gonna go off the field alive. I mean, can you imagine that thought? Let that sink in just for a little moment. I mean, sport is something that we love. And yes, sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, but we need to show respect at all times.
3 changes that England have made. What's the likelihood of them turning on the screws on South Africa?
Yeah, from what I've seen from this England side, Rob, not exciting at all. Very boring, very bullish. And I think that's how that's how the England side can win a Rugby World Cup. They're gonna play sort of a certain style like we normally play. They picked a big pack, guys like Tom Curry, Itoje, Courtney Laws, to name a few, and they brought back Freddie Stewart, the big, tall, lanky fullback. So that tells me as well they're gonna have a kicking game. Last week against Fiji, they tried their luck with a running game. The likes of Marcus Smith coming in, Owen Farrell, swinging the ball a little bit, but clearly didn't work for them. They literally scrape over the line by the help of Monsieur Mathieu Renal. Let's not talk about that now. That's a debate for a different day.
Again.
But Rob, I feel that this team will come with a little bit more anger.
Yeah.
Because in 2019, they were the favorites. They got suffocated and strangled by us, and they got played of the park by us. So they will come with that kind of mindset in terms of trying to upset us, trying to get under our skin. Kicking the whole day. Literally, I can't see them playing an expensive game. They have big runners in midfield, guys like Tuolangi, Elliot Daly on the wing. He's got a big left boot as well. So they're going to come with a scrappy game, and that's the only way they can beat us. And unfortunately for tomorrow night, because we know we got a bit of variation to our play now with the likes of Mani Lebo, Kobus Reinach. Those guys want to play with the ball. But the weather forecast looks like it's going to be rainy. And that kind of suit them a little bit more like it does. We can play a tight game and we masters at it. But I just feel that, when it rains, the level playing field it's almost like level.
Yeah, so kind of a scrappy game. You won't have the kind of pace. I mean, we had an explosive game last week against the host nation, France. I don't think anybody anticipated, just the wave of tries that was scored, the ferocity in which the game was played. I mean, I was just blown away. You mentioned Mario Itoje, and I looked during the week, some crazy numbers, that he has. He's played the full 80 minutes in all 4 appearances in the Rugby World Cup 2023. He's missed, and this was the amazing thing, missed just 10 minutes of game time across his total career tests against the Boks for England, including the British and Irish Lions. And I was like, how much does this man have in his tank?
Rob, obviously professionals, these days the guys got tracked by trackers in terms of their workload, their heart rate, fatigue as well. And Mario Itoje is one of those guys, he's the kind of guy that you would like to have in your team. He's a warrior. He's a warrior, as you just mentioned, the amount of minutes he have played and still continuing to be consistent, dishing out pain to other people. It's a good thing. So that's one guy, and he somehow gets fired up against the Boks.
Yes.
Thankfully, he's been on the losing side a lot against the Boks. But you know what? At some point, you feel that at some point, he will get that big win against the Boks.
Well, I think he goes back to Ellis Park. I think Ellis Park was this good omen for him because that's where he got his first test try back in 2018. So he looks at South Africa and says, that's where my opportunity does lie. South Africa, on the flip side, the coaching staff, the coaching personnel saying, you know what, guys, we happy. We're not going to be changing things. It's an unchanged match day team against England. Wise idea?
Wise idea, Rob. Wise idea. When you get to knockout stages, there's no time for surprises. There's no time for mind games, and you want continuity. I mean, this team does have continuity, and we kind of caught form at the right time. In other words, we're peaking at the right time. For me, really unlucky, like the likes of Andre Estes and Keenan Moody doesn't even make the team, Rob. They would walk into any other team in the world. So it shows you where this team is at. I mean, the confidence, the belief. Yeah. Last week, they missed 43 tackles against France. And France didn't win. France, sort of on the stats side, they won everything. But the Boks won the game. And that is what this team can do. They can grind out a game. Their scramble defense is something that no other team has in the world. And that's why we won that game.
But also individual brilliance. Yeah. I mean, we were just saying of Cheslin's charge down still makes headlines. And I look at it, there's the picture, I think the rear picture of it where you see the number 11, his arms are up, almost indicating another 11, and the ball squashed in between. Yeah. So which almost indicates where the ball was heading to, but there was no way through. That is split-second timing, and he got it right. And here we are today talking about a semi-final berth.
Robbie, at that level again, the margins are so small.
Yeah.
If we put over that kick, they probably be in the semi-final tomorrow. And obviously, hence the heartbreak and people making threats, So that's the kind of level that these boys are playing at. And this team who's been together for the last 4 or 5 years, who obviously Rassie and Jacques is transformed in world beaters. They know how to win. So for me, if anything, they always play for the greater cause. And there's no doubt that these guys again will go out tomorrow and playing for the greater cause, and that is what does make this team so special. They intelligent in the things they approach, and they're intelligent in the way they align themselves. A respectful team with good values, and that is part that the Springbok culture has created the last couple of years, and that is a fantastic
All right,
thing.
My time with you is running out very quickly, which is very sad for me because I love chatting rugby with you all the time. The one quote that I remember that you made, and is very topical because he trends almost whatever he does, good or bad. Manie Libbok, for me, a fantastic player. Outstanding. He does things that a lot of players in the world cannot do. And even opposition people say that about him. And you likened his mentality, the big approach, to a guy like Tiger Woods. Explain that.
Yeah, Rob, many players get into a setup and many players obviously try and get their own identities in terms of how they approach games and what they do in games. Manie Libbok, his mentality is of such, and I spoke to him before, and his coach John Dobson, because I couldn't understand why this guy he will miss 2 kicks, and the next thing he does something brilliant that leads to a try. So Manie Libbok's psychology, or his psyche as a player and a human being, he's got the ability to block out a negative thing right there and then.
Wow!
And just move on to the next thing. And I couldn't understand it until I spoke to these people, because many a player, Rob, if you've seen, even in football, watching guys miss the penalty kick, for instance, the guy's gone. Yeah. You can take him off right away. Manie Libbok is different. So that is a sort of comparison I can make, and the perspective I can give you in simple terms. And that to me, and that's why Rassie Erasmus is still playing Manie Libbok today.
That is crazy.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, that
unbelievable,
is crazy.
Yeah.
the margins are going to be tight. We're looking at 19-point difference. I don't know. I don't think there's been anything more than that in the history.
No, Rob. No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be much tighter than that. I would say Boks by between 7 and 9.
Between 7 and 9.
Yeah.
Hero of the day? Who do you think? Who do you think is due the man of the match? I know man of the match is at times very, whatever it is, but Bonambi won it. It was great.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about Cheslin Colby deserving it, and he would have equally been a deserving. But if you had to pick out potentially who it's due to be that hero on the day,
I think the hero on the day could be a guy like Damian Willemse, because he will have a lot of kicks, a lot of bombs directing at him tomorrow, and he needs to stay strong. He's going to be a last rock tomorrow, and he's going to be crucial in making sure that we field those up and unders from England.
Breyton Paulse, thank you so much, sir. I hope post the World Cup, you and I will sit down, have a a lengthy chat.
And have a glass in the box.
You know the story. A glass of Boks sparkling water is always welcome.
Thank you, Rob.
Enjoy the service, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Cheers,
so much
man.
for coming through.
3, 2, 1. It's here. The Rugby World Cup.
Springboks with a penalty advantage.
Tracked by Marawa every day. #MSW on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
What does it take to be the best bucky in SA? Take it from us, the GWM P Series category winner of the inaugural SA Bucky of the Year competition, offering exceptional space, unprecedented features, smooth performance, and the best value that your money can buy. That's the P Series for you, but don't just take it from us. Start your best bucky adventure now in the GWM P Series. This month, you can buy a 4x4 for the price of a 4x2. Go to dealassist.gwm.coza for more info. T's and C's apply. GWM P Series. Power, precision, persistence.
Have you ever wanted to live, study, or invest abroad? It's great to have international options, but where do you start? Now there's one destination with all the answers. Come to the Global Citizenship and Immigration Expo to meet a wide range of citizenship, immigration, and financial experts. Join Sable International from 24 to 26 October at the Houghton Golf Club in Johannesburg to internationalize yourself, your wealth, and your business. To register, visit sableinternational.com/expo.
I'm Sindisiwe Tikunga, the Minister of Transport in the Republic of South Africa. October Transport Month is a flagship program. During this period, we take stock and reflect on the milestones we have achieved. Our ultimate goal is a transport system that is world-class, integrated, safe, accessible, affordable, Siaka. We are building a better transport infrastructure to grow South Africa together.
To 10 million rand per flight with instant results every 90 seconds and multipliers that keep you on the edge of your seat. Play online now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Uthandi always hated the phrase soccer mom car. There were ballet and piano lessons. Never any soccer. Now that the kids are older, the station wagon is called the stationary wagon because, umama's not taking you anywhere. If your car's spending more time at home, you should be spending less on your premium. Save up to 20% with Smart Park. Visit santam.co.za to get a quote. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
Between our legendary Decofern Spring Sale and the more than 100 brand new premium furniture items we've just unpacked, there are now 1,527 reasons to Decofern your space. They're all so beautiful. Get the latest premium range rugs, sofas, chairs, and all-weather outdoor furniture, plus the freshest spring specials at up to 35% off at your nearest Decofern or decofernsa.co.za.
9,
4, 7.
Music.
Life. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Bernard Parker, the veteran, has gone down.
Said Ramovich, you look at the visuals and you see him, being stretchered off and he's almost like clapping and appreciating, which was for me also just crazy how a person who's in so much pain still finds time respectfully to acknowledge the crowd. Do you believe that in the back of his mind, he believes that his career is over?
This is more the emotions, because when you saw the injury, of course, it's a shock. If we were on a shock, imagine how he felt it. So he is a very mental strong guy. So that's why I trust and I hope and I pray that he will be back soon.
The nature of the injury, you say it's a fracture just above the ankle.
We just know that the bone is broken. He had a surgery. We pray for him and that everything it will be fine.
#MSW. #MSW.
Imagine a tournament being the envy of the world. A festival of rugby. More than just participation, celebration. We are ready to witness something unforgettable. The 2023 World Cup Rugby Tournament with Robert Marawa. #MSW.
Hey Marawa, umkhumbi khumalo lo. And let me also greet Breyton Paulse. This guy, unfortunately, we cannot escape the politics side of it. But when we saw him playing for Springboks, whether we're talking about Chester Williams himself, Peterson, we identified with the brand Springboks. We might not have understood the game then, but we really identified because you are so good at it, the Brian Hapanas of this world. And I just want to say that you represented the other side of politics very, very well. The people of the skin, you did very well. And looking at your circumstances where you came from before you became a star that you became, and remaining humble, I must also indicate that, Marawa, I've met this guy several times. And he always extended a hand. He would come and greet you and ask you how you're doing. So that's Breyton for you. So otherwise, we're very proud of what you did. Now I'm wearing a Springbok jersey because of people like you. You represented very well under all those difficult circumstances. You are the star. You remain a star, Breyton.
You remain a star. Breyton Paulse, as is comfortably listening to that comment in his car. As I said, he had to dash off. Another bumper weekend of rugby action is upon us. We are all excited. Well, I can give you the breakdown on many, many things, but I don't waste too much of your time because we've done a quick substitution coming on. Our bomb squad is very, very rich this side on MSW. Former Springbok Sevens and Lions Centre, Mac Masina, comes in to take the charge through to the try line. Mac, good evening and welcome.
How are you, brother?
I'm strong.
Hundreds, I see, yeah.
We have to be because we are on the threshold of something great.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What is your feeling?
Oh, look, I think it's a good year for our sporting activity, especially when we talk about rugby. We all know what's been happening. And, of course, all eyes are going to be really just looking at this game that will be taking place here tomorrow night. Yeah. And it's just the support that I'm just loving, just to see all the South African people. Even if people that are not even interested in rugby, you will hear them just asking, questions on WhatsApps and all that stuff. Then it's like, oh, did you watch the game? Said, yeah, we watched the game and all that stuff. All of a sudden, they're asking you, where are they supposed to buy the jerseys and all that stuff? So I think it's a good thing.
The interest is there, and we love it because there's nothing great. Here we are, a unique situation. There's Cricket World Cup underway. There's Rugby World Cup also underway. South Africa in those two tournaments. Themba Bavuma, Siya Kolisi spearheading a charge that I think historically we have never ever been able to see, and I don't know if we'll ever get to see ever again. But back from my side, here's South Africa. After that thriller minute against France, they hop along, world rankings, they're there as number one right now. So that means a lot because it's been a while.
Yeah, it does. Especially after they've beaten one of the teams that everyone thought that they were going to really just win the World Cup. And I must say, just looking at the way they've just carried on to this game, the technician, Rassie Erasmus and Jacques Ninabe, I think it's been really just amazing. I've been hearing now just during the course of the week, people are talking about the subs, that he has made and all that stuff. I think that was all planned. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. And not too many people really understand if we look at the tries that the Boks have scored, 2 tries that they were scored specifically, more or less exactly the same way, where those tries they were scored, where the kick was kicked on the far side of the park and then it was missed. And if you're looking at the players that they were around there, you could see that the players that they were there who were supposed to be there catching that ball, they were not there. So a very planned thing when we go tactical, when we go deeper. And I must say, it's been really just awesome to see that happening because this game, it was planned for such a long time. Remember, we played them last year, nearly won there in France, and all of a sudden, obviously, Rassie just went back and really made sure that, they do all their homework just to make sure that if we play against these guys, it was going to be one of those games where it could be won very closely.
Mac, there's a guy called Eben Etzebeth. Something special about him on many different fronts. And I got to say that he's going to be walking on tomorrow, running on to his 118th cap.
Yeah.
Only 2 people are ahead of him in terms of caps earned in the Springbok history. That's Victor Matfield, 127, Brian Habana, 124. So he steps in 118th. And given the game that he played last week, he took time off. got the yellow, took it on the nose, apologized a little bit for it. But you know what? That's a sportsmanship about him. But tell me, what is the X factor about him and what he brings into the squad and what we can expect tomorrow?
No, it's just huge. I remember seeing him a long time ago when we played against them as a UJ team in the Varsity Cup. He was still at University of Cape Town, and at UCT, you could see just the stature, the way he was carrying on. He really just bulldozed all our players from UJ, and then this is where we realized that this man can go far. And then all of a sudden, straight after that, the same year actually, he made it into Western Province team. So that should really just tell you how important he is. And then straight after that, I mean, there was no brainer and all that stuff. I think what really just helped him as well was he actually left South Africa. Then he went just to play his rugby in France. Yes. So that really just gave him that little bit of experience as well, where now he comes back and then all of a sudden he's the man, for the team. I mean, how many locks that really just push all 80 minutes, first game, second game, and third game. So he has done that so much time. And then, of course, I think it's just one of those players where if there's a problem in terms of sorting out someone in a team, he's a go-to man.
Pass it on to him.
Yeah.
And, the captaincy, Siya Kolisi, the leader, making his debut against England in the 2018 tour of South Africa, has grown in leaps and bounds. And again, he will stand on the threshold of doing something that we as South Africans, I don't know, I hate preemptively talking about things, but defending champions and you win this World Cup back to back, do you think that will be playing a major part in his mind as a leader to say, guys, a lot of this bunch of players, you guys might not ever be back again at a World Cup, given your age and all sorts of circumstances?
I think they are aware.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's one of the things that has been addressed to a team when they had their alignment camp. I remember Rassie Rasmussen talking about the players now. Some of them now they've got girlfriends, some of them they are married. And then in 2019, there was none of that. They were free for all. Now there's a little bit of maturity and all that stuff. And the age plays a big factor. And a lot of them will see all our players just going to play the rugby in France or overseas and all this. Because trust me, they are going to be going away. And then, of course, I don't see this squad just coming back in the next 4 years. So we are definitely going to be building. But the key is that they'll need to make sure of this one, because this will be a very special moment. Not too many teams has done that except New Zealand. But of course, if you look at New Zealand when they did it those years, I don't think that they had really tough pull going all the way just to win the final. This World Cup is probably one of the best that I've really just ever seen. When have you ever seen, 8 teams that are playing in the quarterfinals that anyone can win or anyone can lose? Because in the quarterfinals. You lose, then you go home. Pretty simple.
You don't wash the jersey, you go and throw it away because of the shame. That's how rugby people are. You want to go all the way through. You don't want to. Mkumla jersey for sure, but you want to head through to the final. All right, a story that's just come through now. We're going to play it for you. The Springbok hooker Ubongi Mbonambi looking ahead of the side's Rugby World Cup semi-final, saying that they do not view England as underdogs. He also touched on the story that Breyton and I touched on, the death threat to Kobus Reinach.
I don't think we've ever mentioned England as underdogs. I think it would be very disrespectful to them to mention them as underdogs. We don't look at ourselves as favourites. It's knockout rugby. Anything can happen. So, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a physical game. I think it would be very disrespectful to say they're underdogs, and we never see ourselves as favourites. Obviously, people are talking about they're looking for revenge, however they see the game, it's up to them. I think for us, just focusing on our game plan, focusing on the task that we have at hand, making sure that we are aligned together with the coaches and the players. And for us, we don't play a lot on emotions, because I believe emotions will last you 20 minutes and then you burn yourself out. I think us as a Springbok, we have a plan they don't implement on Saturday, and just for us staying tight together as a unit and being aligned on the day.
On Kobus, yes, I've heard there were some threats made to him and his family. It's an unfortunate situation, but I think everything has been reported to the French authorities, and they're handling it at the moment.
Yep. You were nodding there. I mean, there's a lot of sense there being spoken by a man who's really risen, not only in terms of his own personal game, but also from a leadership perspective when Usia is off.
You know what? He mentioned something that is very important. They just got to be aligned. It's all about that. And it doesn't really matter who you're playing against. I think one thing that I really enjoy about the Springbok team is that they really respect their opposition. It doesn't matter who they're playing against, whether they've won these guys 4 years ago and all that stuff, it doesn't really matter. As long as if they focus on what they're supposed to do, and I think they should be fine. You know, it's a pity this thing about Kobus, it's so silly, man. I think it's just sour grapes. If you ask me, you know, from people there in France, you can't really do that. If you get beaten, you get beaten. It's done, you know, just stay at home. If they want to really go to the final, they can still go to the final, but they can make sure that they buy the tickets to go there. So it's pretty simple. They're not going to be there. They must sit on the stands and they must enjoy themselves and let all these 4 teams and try and just battle through and fight through and see who's going to be in the final. They're not going. They just got to buy tickets. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, I saw early on, and that's why he's all the way in France, the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, saying he's inviting the French people to come on board and they must come and support the Springbok. So can you imagine that? Here's a player, I mean, I really want to mention him because I don't think too many people give him the credit that he deserves. Kurtley Arendse, as a rugby player, 13 tries and 13 tests for the Springboks. That is an almighty turnover when you look at it, Mac.
Yeah.
Hey.
Opportunity. He got an opportunity, then he used it.
Yeah.
This is the player that was playing in the Varsity Cup Shield. Not the top of the, Varsity Cup tournament.
Yeah, the Shield.
There's a cup where you get the likes of UJ, Marties, and you get all the, UCT playing in that tournament. He was playing below that.
Sure.
Look at him now. He got an opportunity, probably one of the smallest player if you ask me. I mean, I know a lot of people, they think that Faf is actually small. Even Kurtley Arendse, he's not that big.
Yeah.
But the way he just carries on, I mean, he is a player that has won a lot of balls, just jumping all the way just to try and see if he can get the ball in the air. So that should really just tell you how important he is.
But a special kid. I mean, he's already in the role and the realm of a Brian Habana and a Makazola Mapimpi in terms of the return in such a short space of time. 13 tries and 13 tests.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
To be honest, if you're looking at the way he's been really just carrying on, there was an opportunity, even if Mampimpi was actually just fit and ready, I don't think that he was going to get his opportunity because the lighty was just awesome. So I think it's good as well just to see the coaches from the Springbok team just giving players opportunity. And then it's just being fair. If you perform well, it doesn't matter who you are or it doesn't matter where you're coming from, you are going to get that opportunity. So that's what I really enjoy about the Springbok team.
And I think for the Manili Bok doubters, they'll have to swallow their pride. I mean, this is a guy who's put up the second most bomb kicks of any player at the Rugby World Cup. 10. The retention success rate of 30%. You know the depth of the stat of what that means.
Yeah.
And he's been able to deliver.
He has. There's no two way about it. Now at least he's got Pollard on the bench who can really just come in and finish off the job. But just credit to the forwards. I mean, not too many people really just talks about all these big guys.
Yeah.
The guys that finish off the whole chicken, the Nandos and all that stuff. They do it. Trust me. The likes of Oxenchair, they always just come in and make sure that they do that. The work done. Just to mention the few, the Stephen Kitchoff, the Mbongi Mbonambi, Malherbe and all those guys, they do hard work. By the time all the other guys are actually tired, they really just come in and make sure that they do the job. And just credit to that. I mean, because if those guys were not really just performing, Robert, the likes of Kurtley Arendse and Manili Bok, we were not going to be able really just to see them.
Supply.
But just good to see the team just carrying on. I'm just hoping that they need to be very focused for this one because it's semi-final. We all know what can happen in the semi-final. Anyone can really just win the game. But the main fact that I'm really just willing just to put my house and bet and say that the Boks will win. Doesn't mean that I've got money, Robert. I don't have money. That's my RDPRs. So because that's how I really just trust the Springbok team to go out tomorrow and do the job.
RDP meaning red, dark and protected. What's the score? Your senior here said the Bok by 7 or 9.
Yeah.
What are you going for?
I'll say by 15.
By 15.
Yeah.
I love that boldness. Mac Messina, I'll see you after the Boks get to the final, my friend. You're an absolute superstar.
Thanks, my brother.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. And who are we seeing in the final? So according to you, it's the Bok versus who in the final?
Ooh, All Blacks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep.
The clash of the Titans at the Rugby World Cup. Be there with Marawa on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and